Hey guys, just so you know before I say anything related to this, these videos have no script, so I might say wrong things that are wrong, and that's why I barely do any research. I just decide to wing it and be like, you know what? Let's just do this. I don't care if there's a comment about it in the comment section, if I can even have that, or anything else, I don't really know. Or at least a comment in my shorts that's like, hey, in your video titled What if Byzantium was restored in the Victorian era, did you know that something is wrong? Well, I don't do research for this, so yeah, I don't know stuff. And also, I don't do, I don't have a script for this, so yeah. So anyway, let me explain the war. There was rising tension in the Balkans with a new nation, Albania, Montenegro, Serbia, and Bulgaria, and of course the Ottomans still exist. They accidentally got a news report from Greece, that they're planning to restore Byzantium and take Constantinople, make the Balkans theirs except for the Austro-Hungarian Balkans, or the Austrian Balkans. I don't know if they're Austro-Hungary now. Excuse me. But anyway, with rising tensions growing between the Balkan powers, a war begins with the Balkan powers and Greece, which is receiving help from the legendary United Kingdom and Russia, because if you've heard about it before, Catherine the Great, which was the Empress of Russia at some point, was trying her best to create a plan to revive the Byzantine Empire, and Russia now sees their chance. One, to prove they're the third Rome, because, hey, once there was two Romes, then there was two Romes, then there were no Romes. And they were there. And now there'll be two more Romes. It's better to either have one or two Romes, not three. That's just unusual. So anyway, Russia is supporting through a couple volunteers, and Britain is supporting through industrial help. And I gotta fix this border real quick. With Russian and British help, a push is made from the Greeks, which began a tiny push into Bulgarian territory. And a tiny bit of Albania is seized, since Bulgaria and Albania are very new countries. They were just formed after the events of the First Balkan War, which took place over 2 years before this war. So, let's see the math. If the First Balkan War began in its time, which is 1836, this is 2 years after, welcome to 1838. So in 1838, with the new countries of Albania and Bulgaria not expecting to actually need an army, since Albania just got independent after the war, not actually fighting in the war, they don't really have good armies. But since it's an alliance, armies are sent in. But over the first few days and months, with stuff moving, a mass push is made. Not to destroy everything, but just to make a tiny push. Teeny push, I mean. And so slowly but surely, they're able to make their way in, conquering this territory. But then all of a sudden, another power joins, which is the Ottoman Empire. Dun dun dun! What the frick am I even doing with my luck? So anyway, I'm gonna make these islands, I think they're a lot. So many Ottoman islands that are here, since the Italo-Turkish War hasn't happened yet, since the frickin' Victorian era.
Now we figured out what
we check here.
Frick. Because nobody wants to give us their information.
I don't think it's the timing.
Anyway, with their new territories, the Greeks were able to quickly seize different Ottoman islands. Why did I even call them red? Let's reverse that. Give me at least 5 seconds. With quick Greek takenment of Ottoman islands, they easily have something to do. One, they could maybe launch a naval invasion to Constantinople, but that would be too risky. It's fortified. It will be a sneak attack, though, but they don't want something bad to happen. So anyway, the Ottomans decide to join the war. And using their small borders, the Greeks are able to begin taking some Ottoman territory in Anatolia. And some Ottoman territory is easily taken because the Ottoman Empire hasn't industrialized. Because they fought so many wars with Russia, they still didn't industrialize. So let's say they also did not learn a lesson. Even though Russia didn't, industrialize to begin with, they still probably won the wars against the Ottomans. And the Ottomans never, tried to do something like industrialization to have an upper hand against their enemy, which is Russia, which is now Greece. And so now, using their tactics, Greece is able to begin to push in. And with Russian support, they're able to start equalizing the borders. Until Greek troops traveling around the coast are able to make their way forward. But something horrible happens. A naval invasion from the Ottoman Empire reaches the island. This island. It begins to go. And by the way, my dad's watching your video, so yeah, that's the sound you hear. And the Ottomans are going to slowly but surely push up, moving, until they decide to naval invade and try and take Athens. The Battle of Athens will be a major point in the war. Depending if the Ottomans win, the war would end. Greece surrenders. Everything goes back to normal. A Balkan hegemony with a failed Byzantium. But if the Greeks won, they could push the Ottomans back even more, reforming Byzantium. But you looked at the title, and I think you already know where this is going. So with a victory in the Battle of Athens, the Ottomans are easily pushed out. Since they were mostly focusing on the Balkans, and when the Ottomans surprisingly naval invaded here, they didn't have a bunch of stuff to attack with, so they had to force some troops to go. But in the time, they were able to begin to move down and even take this, connecting some of their forces. They began moving coast to coast, not to just conquer, but to connect. With old Greek people that still lived there and still remembered, remembered the good old days of Byzantium. But they're not almost frickin' 400 years old. They're not that old. Their parents told them. Which their parents' parents told them. Which their parents' 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 parents told them. Which their parents' 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 parents. So just a long line of telling about the story of Byzantium was able to teach them. So Greek people in the area were easily letting them through. And so slowly but surely the Ottomans began to falter. Until a small naval invasion happened. The Russians were trying to prove they were the third Rome, with another Rome just chilling. And so, with Greek help, they were able to officially naval invade this area. And with Russian help, the war had officially ended. Everything that had been remembered. The war to end the thing that happened. The failure of everything ended with a Greek victory for everyone, or at least for all Greeks. And so a new border was drawn, a new Greek border.
I'm not saying you're violent, I'm saying that you're about to get under arrest.
Byzantium is officially restored, and for a better touch, the person ruling over Greece decided to get something cool. Using his stuff, he was able to find the old crown worn by Julius Caesar and everyone. But of course, I gotta move this stuff real quick. Back in the good old days of Greek civilization, stuff existed. And so, after a long time, Byzantium was finally restored. It's a new empire. And the king of Greece was crowned emperor of all Greeks. But he soon decided to change that title to Emperor of all of the Romans. And so if you wait for a second, actually I can make this a cut. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. For a long, long time, Byzantium was finally restored. After being gone for 400 years. The Emperor of Byzantium decided to marry someone very special. Using an ancient DNA stuff, however they did DNA stuff back then, they were able to find somebody related to the last Roman emperor. And so, the son of the emperor, which was unmarried at the time, married her, so that ties to Byzantium could forever be there. And this is the end of the series. They achieved their goal. They achieved everything. But
I'm telling you what.
I'm going for a long shot here. For a total of 100 likes, I will do a part 3 on the 1848 revolutions and their influence on Byzantium. And of course their later conquests, since if you look in the Google thing over here, they had control over all of the Balkans. And so, maybe, for 200 likes, if we're able to get 100 likes on this video, we will do a part 4 in World War I. But of course, see ya later. To tell you guys, the Balkan War began, of course, 2 years in 1838 and ended in 1844.